a new season, season 4 of Contest of Speed, and this is the big boys, Tier 1, making their opening, having their opening round of the season. I'm your commentator for today. Now moving into Tier 1 commentary box, Lewis, aka Racer, and Two Spell is in the building as well. Hey Two Spell, welcome.
Evening.
Yeah, you obviously last season you were racing in this tier. This season we're both battling it out in Tier 2, but we get to enjoy now what should be, I think, a bit more closer up front, Tier 1 in terms of the challenge to Altakir. But what do you, what's your thoughts on this season of Tier 1?
Yeah, there's plenty of people. It's interesting. It's odd to be watching it rather than being in it, but I think once the action gets underway and they all go super quick, I'll probably be like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, well,
crack on with that.
Yeah, obviously there's some really quick drivers, obviously being Tier 1. Guys that have stayed in this year, moved from last season. You got Fruitful Coot, Colesbury, Chavi, Jay Ferroche. Matrix moved up into Tier 1, however he is using a wheel, I've been told, so and he's going to stick to using that wheel now, so he may be a bit off the pace. He won't have that lightning quick pace he had in Tier 2 last season. Raikkonen has rejoined too, really glad to see him back in, and Ginger Ninja is now up into Tier 1. Thomas and Jamie 1S, obviously they've continued back from last season.
Well, Bullet Boy spinning out of the last corner.
Oh!
He was just trying to do a couple of practice laps in on the hard tyres, I think.
Yeah, see that. Yeah, so got a bit caught out on that opening lap on those hard tyres. Altakir's just stormed provisional pole, 120.075.
Only a tenth and a half ahead of Fruitful, so already looking at least a bit competitive there.
And also, half the people have yet to set a fast a fast lap at all yet. We've only got 8 runners who have set lap times. I'm just trying to see who is out there on a hot lap.
Jay Rocher has just started a hot lap. He's just going around turn 3 now.
Okay, yeah. On board.
It'll be interesting to see the battle at Mercedes. So we've arguably got the best team lineup we've ever had in Contest of Speed history.
Yes.
Is it going to be a Hamilton-Alonso affair, or is it going to be Lewis Valtteri?
I don't think it's going to be either of them. I think, well, Altakir obviously showed he had a little bit more pace last season, so you could say the Hamilton Bottas. However, I don't know, maybe having that direct competitor. Oh, he runs a bit wide there. That wasn't the best line.
He's got a toe though.
He got a toe, but I think he carried a little bit too much speed in the first part of in the left-hander, and it sort of compromised him. He was too tight. Oh, he's hit the wall, and I think he's bailed out of this.
Yeah, a bit messy at the end there. Otherwise, though, it looked a decent lap. It looked to be on a par, I think.
Yeah. Matrix is now out there on the wheel, so he's just completed Sector 2. He's into Sector 3 now. Be interested to see how his pace is.
Got some strong team lineups as well. We got the 2 Williams boys there, and we've got our Ferrari guys, Thomas and Thomas.
The Thomas boys at Ferrari. Yeah, it's really. I think Tier 1 definitely is going to be more interesting. Weirdly, Matrix has not set his DRS at all there, and there's a 120.8, but he chose whether he forgot to use DRS. I don't know, but. Not the fastest, obviously, at the moment, the slowest of the runners.
Javi back as well in the Renault. Nice to see him back. I remember a few decent battles with Javi last year and the year before.
Yeah, indeed. I'm just trying to see who else is on hot laps. Jamie 1S is... No. Got a few people on their second out laps now. Altakir Fruitful Coot is also on an out lap. So yeah, it's I think, to be honest, you get 3 runs, 3 bites of the cherry. If you choose a balanced tyre allocation, you get 3 softs and a medium tyre in qualifying. Obviously, we have the Force, or what was the Force India Racing Point. Can't call them anymore Force India. Racing Point Yeah, the Bullet Boy, he obviously selected a harder tyre compound, as he has been able to use it for his quali so far. Everyone's going to go for softs. It'll be interesting to see anyone who fails to get into the top 10, whether they go for the strategy Jacob did yesterday, which was a medium to soft. It's one of those, I think it can work. Jacob was fortunate with the instance that happened at the start. He was able to take quite a lot of places and stay ahead on those mediums. However, the soft tyre and track position, I think, still is key. Ultimately, you want to be on that soft tyre to get as high up the grid as possible. And if you qualify in the top 10, so be it. But outside the top 10, there is that. I don't think the hard tyre is worth it, but definitely, potentially, you might see some people go for the medium tyre, a fresh medium, allowing them to go much further into their first stint.
Definitely. I think reverse strategies tend to not work so well in Tier 1 just because it's so high-paced and it's sort of like a qualifying run for the whole 29 laps. You don't really want to ever be out of that lead car train, otherwise you end up just being out of sync with it.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. It's always better when you're in a train, you sort of have something to aim for. It's always easier to follow someone than being on your own. And yeah, if you have that issue, if you're in the slower tyre, people are pulling away, you can very easily get frustrated and make mistakes because you're trying to push that a little bit harder to make up for that loss of grip that you have. So definitely, it's a good point. Mitch is on a hot lap at the moment, and he's in the final sector. That second to last corner, it's always very tempting to brake out a little bit later, but it's a tighter corner than you think it's going to be. And here comes Mitch to the line. It's going to be an improvement. So 120.5 up into P5.
Very good stuff there. Promising stuff there for Mitch in the Alpha.
Now, Fruitful had to abandon his quali lap, so he obviously got an invalidation. Altakir is coming in towards the final turn.
Finishing.
Nice and tidy.
Around that final corner,
yeah, looked really good. Here he goes, 119.6. Beat that, he says to the rest of the field.
Thrown from the champion.
Lovely lap time there from our reigning champion. Now, who else is out? Oh, we got yellows in sector 1. That's because of Altakir. Who else have we got?
Already out again. I think Raikkonen is just about to wind up a lap. He's coming down the start-finish straight.
Yeah. So that's the beginning of his second flying lap now. As Thomas moves up to P3. Thomas has got 120.3 there, so just behind his teammate into provisional P3 for now.
My early thoughts are that we're going to have Mercedes, Ferrari and Williams in the Constructors' Battle in Tier 1. Hopefully people can surprise us, but that's my thought.
At the moment, that prediction, I think, is pretty solid, because Gil, how would you pronounce it? Is it Gil? Or Guil?
Is it Gil? Is it Gil? Is it Guile?
Yeah, or Guil sometimes, if it's
So
French.
we go with Gil, because we're in Australia, and then if he wants to make it French and change our minds, we can change later.
Yeah, okay, Gil. We'll call him Gil. Gil and Raikkonen are really good. Oh, there's Altakir doesn't get in the way, that's good. It's Raikkonen. There's a few slow drivers, but Raikkonen... Oh, he's backed out. So...
That could be a bit of controversy later on, we'll find out.
Yeah, it looked like Altakir was out of the way. I
felt that he was.
I think he might have just cut the corner a bit too much and got invalidation.
I think Jamie's coming into the last sector on his Jamie 1S in the Red Bull, coming into the final sector on a hot lap.
Yeah, going right onto the edge of that extra little bit of exit curb. Oh, we've got a bit of understeer though, but that might cost him a bit of time. It doesn't look like it's a 120. Oh, he just gets into a 120.8, so that only moves it up to P11.
Top 8 all within a second of Al. And it's a Mercedes 1-2 at the moment. With Jabby blocking my constructor's prediction from being 100% spot on.
Well, look how close it is. After Altakir, you've got 120.221, 120.232. then Thomas of 1:20.331. So
Although
those
don't
guys
worry
are
about
10th.
that being half a second, because I think one thing that we've seen in Cole's history is that Al likes to sit it on pole. He likes to put his car a bit more towards a qualifying setup, and he's not anywhere near as far ahead of everyone else in race trim.
Yeah, that's. I mean, particularly on the heavy fuel loads, this track is tricky. It's particularly in the fast left and right-handers, but I think Altakir, looking at that, even with quali pace, that is quite omnibus advantage in your one lap. It might be a little bit close in the race, but it could be that Altakir might just have everyone. Well, he's just got the better of everyone here. He could be that pace as well in the race. He's always pretty good at the starts as well, so it'd be interesting to see, if he does have that gap difference in the end. A lot of people going into the pits now. Carlsbury is just on a stonking first sector. He's 4/10 up on his previous best,
Which would jump him straight up into the Ferrari boys on pace.
Well, he was 4/10 up. It was my bad. He's 2/10. I'm sure he said 4/10, but now it just came through. He came through the first sector and he was 2/10 down. So, and he's got no ERS. So he must have It must have been his previous lap that he improved by 4/10 of a second.
True. I think he's just racing back to the pit lane now to try and have enough time to do a final lap.
Which he may
Raikkonen
struggle.
is the first to blink on this last run. He's on out lap. He's coming to the end of sector 1.
Charlie's just doing his what looks to be his final flying lap, and it's a minor improvement, 1:21 dead, which gets him up into P12. That'll be it for him. As a couple of people, Ginger Ninja, Raikkonen, and Altakir are out already. Let's see who
Shout out to Bullet today, making his debut alongside Ghost in the Racing Point. They should be interesting. It'll be on a race-by-race basis. I can see both of them just appearing, challenging in the hunt for podiums, to be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. But look how close Raikkonen was around that top 5. But because he missed, he invalidated that second run, and it's so close, and the track's evolving. I'm expecting everyone to improve on this lap with their final runs.
Quite a bit of traffic, you think, out of here. There's already a couple of cars coming out as he tries to get into turn 1. They all get out of the way, fair play.
Oh, that was perfect. Just about got in front of those guys before they got to that turn 1. So here he goes. First, he's the first guy out of all those people to set lap times. I think then quickly behind him is Ginger Ninja, and then Altakir will be setting his final best lap, and then everyone else is at the end.
Cut the corner there?
Well, he's still going for it. So far, he's all good. He's catching up to the back of a Red Bull, which will be Jamie 1S. We're going on board him now through this fast sector. If you get it, oh no, that's surely. It is.
He backed straight out of it. So it's a P7 at best for Raikkonen.
Right, now we're going to go to Ginger Ninja.
Who's next to him? Is it Ginger Ninja?
Yep, he's going into the final corner now. In fact, he's ahead of everyone. He's coming to the final corner now. What lap time will he do? Currently P13. It's only a minor improvement, and it's not an improvement in position. So next one is Altakir then. He's the next one on a flying lap. Currently, it just started sector 2. But he's coming up to a racing point. Good driving. Now he did it just right.
Nice.
That was
over
perfect.
The curbs just right without losing any traction.
Yeah, very smooth with that wheel. Shifts up the gears very early, so he doesn't get that wheel spin. Here he comes towards the line. Is it an improvement? Yes, 1:19.6. 5.5. I think he's mirrored. Oh, Altakir's left the session.
Oh.
Oh dear. So he must have just lost internet. Thankfully, if he can get back, hopefully, before the quali ends, because that's what happened to me in Abu Dhabi. So we have people already finishing. Here we go. So who's the next one coming along? We've got
Roche's on a good lap in the last sector. The Mercedes guys are going to finish their laps before the Ferrari guys. Coming down the penultimate corner now. Just clips the apex, and then he puts it on the power. If we go smooth around the last corner. Yep.
Now Carlsbury's retired, so he's crashed.
Ooh.
19.8. Massive improvement there. Now who else have we got coming along? We've got the Renault, Javi. Javi is coming along now to the final corner. Currently P5. Jamie
Thomas
1S.
is a tenth and a half up.
Yeah.
After sector 2.
Oh, now Bullet Boy's crashed. Javi moves up to P4. And
Looks
yeah, I
Ferraris.
Oh, the Racing Point is in the way there. And a few people had to take
Fruit in the wall! Fruit in the wall!
Oh no! So he's not going to improve any further on his P3. So we just saw the end of that.
Raikkonen had enough fuel for an extra run. He pops up into P4. Fair play on lap old tyres.
Here comes Thomas. And
Thomas
that's an
up to
improvement.
third.
Yep, good improvement there. So the only other guy now, Mitch didn't do a lap, so it's going to be Big Slater. Here he comes, and again, a real slow lap time. So Raikkonen, interestingly, doing 2 laps on those softs. That's going to mean he's going to be struggling.
He could have been P3 on the grid if he'd got it together on his first lap.
Definitely, absolutely. But I think he's going to be one of the early pitters. He might be one of the guys who wants to pit
He might have to go for an undercut onto hard tyres potentially if he can't look after his tyres with that extra load into them.
Now, hopefully Altakir has rejoined before the quali ends, as we're getting very close now. Fingers crossed, otherwise we could have a real open... To be fair, Ferrero Rocher was really close on pace, 1/10 off Altakir in pole. Thomas, a brilliant P3 for him, fruitful coot. So it's Mercedes 1-2, Ferrari 3-4, Raikkonen 5th, Javi 6th, Gil in 7th, he's French. So I'm reckoning it's Guil, but we'll call him Gil for now until he tells us otherwise. Jamie 1S in 8th, Mitch 9th, Carlsbury 10th, Jago 11th, Charlie 12th, Ginger Ninja 13th, Matrix 14th, Big Slater 15th, and Bullet Boy in 16th.
Jay Ghost in pole position for the alternate strat if he chooses to go for it, or even if he just wants to have fresh softs, he's got that option.
Oh, and Altakir is not in.
Where is it? This could be a start to the season.
It won't let him join back. But
oh no!
At the end of the day, there's nothing. It happened to me last season. I lost internet connection during my towards the end of quali, and the race.
It's a cruel mistress.
It is, but unfortunately, unless it's an issue with everyone, it's one of those, isn't it? Unless you have like an actual issue with internet connection where everyone's having a problem.
That is a great shame. It would have been great to see the battles going on there, especially the budding battle between the two Mercedes drivers. Well, he's back in, but is his car going to be there?
No, I think it'll be too late. Yeah. But in the day, yeah, his car's there. Oh,
his car is there. He is on the. I think he might have got away with that.
He might have just been able to get in before.
It's still got an X on it, so it's being driven by AI by the looks of it at the moment.
And I'd be interested to see what the AI level was set at. Because if it's set at a reasonably high level, obviously that car will be able to stay ahead. If it's not, it would be getting in the way of everyone. So, at the moment...
I have a feeling it's somewhere in the 80s that it's being set.
So let's look on tyres.
Jay Ghost deciding to go for the mediums in P11.
And a few people have, yeah. Ginger Ninja, Matrix, Big Slater and Bullet Boy. So they're going to go for that medium to soft strategy.
Everyone except Charlie, who's gone for some fresh softs.
Yeah, Alta Kid still X. So effectively we've got... Oh, and Ferrocci's now passing Alta Kid, because I'm guessing the problem is people are struggling to warm their tyres up. Because
it's
of the
very slow lap going round.
That's it. So I think people might, especially the medium tyre runners, they're going to really struggle getting tyres temperature in their tyre temperature with the medium compound. I tried it yesterday in a practice race, and at this slow pace, it's really hard to get a temperature. As Jay Ghost has ended up on the got disqualified from the formation lap, so he. Oh, and
Charlie looked like they had a coming together.
Yeah.
But Jake will be rubbing his hands together in glee on the front row here with the two Ferraris right behind him.
Well, what I'd be worried about is if you're Thomas, though, how well is Alta Kid's computer going to AI going to get off at the lights? He hopefully not be getting in the way. This is going to be a dramatic start, I feel. So here we go. 4 lights, 5 lights, it's tier 1, and it's go for this Australian Grand Prix. So the Alta Kid's AI has got a good start. Ferrocci's having a look down the inside. Oh, this could be drama. Is it? I don't know if
Noah's
it is.
Ark into turn 3.
It's still side by side as they go down into turn 3. And Ferrocci has that position now, ahead of Alta Kid, who I think is AI.
Thomas, the winner of Australia in season 2, is up to second.
I think Alta Kid's got it, you know, because there's not an X on there anymore. So I think Alta Kid is driving it. I
feel like Alta Kid's driving it as well. This isn't behaving like an AI car.
Yeah, he's going down the inside of Thomas.
Yeah, that's he's back, hooray. A little bit of work to do now.
So Ferrocci gets that start. Thomas second, Alta Kid 3, Fruitful Coot. Always a bit of a barge. Oh no! Ferrocci's off! And both Mercedes! Unreal! Oh no! What a start! So
no! And Ghost's running to the back of him!
And a 5-second penalty for Alta Kid. What drama!
We'll have that removed. Absolute drama. You predicted it and we've got it.
Yeah, and this is the thing, that fast left and right on the heavy fuel loads is so easy to lose the rear end, and both just synchronised it shades of Ferrari in 2001 Malaysia when they went on that oil, and they both went off in the same corner.
I was about to say, not since early noughties Ferrari days have we seen them running 1-2 in Australia, but yeah, that incident where they both went off on, was it Panis's oil?
Yes, that was it. Yeah, Panis's oil from the engine failure, and then it started to rain. Yeah,
is it going to rain?
No, well, we've been told it's not going to rain, but yeah, it's we don't need it at this rate, because I bet the Ferrari drivers are laughing. The two Thomas brothers, I suppose. The 1 and 2 at the moment have a P3 now. Right.
Oh, Thomas runs wide into the wall. Has he made damage?
Yeah, no, he's got no damage. But Fruitful took the lead.
I wondered if that might have been mildly choreographed as well, just because. I mean, I know we had a bad season last year, but you would think that Fruit is the faster of the two, or maybe they just want to take advantage and take the win and use Thomas as a rear gunner for Fruit.
Potentially. Fruitful did have a little slide, a little drift in that fast right-hander. Is it turns 11 and 12? I can't remember.
Yes, I think it is the fast left-right.
Yeah, it's he had a little moment, but got away with it. But yeah, Fruitful's starting to pull away, and Javi is starting to put pressure onto the back of Thomas. Meanwhile, everyone's
down the grid.
Yeah, everyone's really close.
Big Slater up 5 places from the start. He's the big winner. big losers, obviously, the two Mercedes and Ghost, I think, really.
Yeah, well,
He got
Altakir
caught up in that.
he was lucky he didn't get any wing damage. He just spun out, but he didn't get any wing damage, unlike Ferrero Rocher. So Altakir is in P11, but could still do well because everyone is so close at the moment. The biggest gap at the moment is just Matrix on that learning on still on his wheel. He's 2.6 behind Bullet Boy, but everyone else is within a second of each other.
That's a very good point you raised. So no damage from his spin for Altakir, so he is only still 5.5 seconds off the lead.
And Calsbury and J1S. I saw that they were making a move. Calsbury was making a move, and Thomas gets a 3-second penalty, and they both made a bit of contact. Oh, and they've both lost a lot of time there. And Jamie 1S lost more. He's down to P11. And Altakir making a place up to P10. Altakir's trying to go around the outside of Big Slater. What a move, he can pull this off. They're still going to be
Slater's
side by side.
Shades of Alcatraz and Schumacher.
No!
Oh, no.
That was going to happen with those soft tyres overheating. So Big Slater, wing damage, and he's going to have to pit and go on to the hards now, surely.
Racing incident there for him. But all the time he's stuck in his traffic light. Even though he's made up 2 positions there, he's lost another half a second to the lead because he is not going as fast as he can be.
Yeah, that's it. Trying to see who else is pretty close right now. Charlie's pretty close to the back of Mitch.
At the front.
Yeah, I think Mitch is
So
starting to fall behind.
We've got the top 5 train and then a Mitch train.
Yes. And Altakir is at the back of that train. So really, let's see, leader. If you look, Altakir is only 6 seconds off the race leader right now.
I wonder, he's got 2 options really. Is Altakir going to try and undercut into that big gap up to Ginger Ninja, or is he going to try and look after his tyres here? He was well back. I think he's felt that there wasn't any chance of him for some points today.
Sector 3, so
he's in the pit lane.
Al
has to avoid Carlsbury running wide there. He takes the place, but he nearly got collected there on his journey back to the top.
I think Ferrero Rocher lost it. He won in the pits. I think it was because it was Sector 3 yellow. So I don't know where that was. Might have been last corner potentially.
There's no car there.
No.
Hill with the fastest lap. All behind his teammate.
Yeah.
That's an interesting battle that we don't know the lay of the land yet, with the battle between the 2 Williams drivers.
And Gil has passed. Yeah, Gil has passed Raikkonen. So Gil is having to P4. His pace is starting to show, and he can cause a challenge to the top 3 leaders.
Mitch is falling back, but he's not being harassed too much by Charlie, so I think he's fallen back because he's not got that absolute pace, but he seems quite comfortable in 6th, which is good for the Alpha driver.
Yeah, just having a look on, making sure the stream is all good. I'm going to be reading the comments now when people come in with comments.
Might be a bit less comfortable if Al makes it past Charlie down the back DRS.
Oh, Raikkonen's crashed! I just got the end of it. Another victim off that left-hander. There could be a virtual safety car here. But Raikkonen, I just caught the end of it. Lost the rear end.
Javi and Gil are in the wall as well.
Oh!
At the end of the DRS straight. I just caught that from Al, who's now up to 5th. And right behind Javi, who seems to be okay with damage.
And that's allowed Mitch up to P3 all of a sudden. So
it's
Mitch was
Ferrari engine 1, 2, 3, and Al's already back 4th.
Yep, so Altakir responding well. But yeah, drama.
Charlie challenging Javi.
Yeah. And Javi's got no wing damage. It's just I reckon those tyres are overheating. And that McLaren of Carlsbury got a bit close behind Charlie. But what a race so far.
Did get damaged by the looks of it. He's gone onto the mediums, so he's going to have to pit again.
What drama this race had so far. We're only 6 laps in.
And
we haven't even gone through the stops.
We didn't really expect. It's just been some minor errors causing big, little errors, but people getting collected in them because they're so close to each other.
So Javi, I think Javi's tyres, anyone figures that if you have moments on these soft tyres, with the wear rate and a heavy fuel load, it just overheats those tyres so much that you end up... Oh, yellow in sector 1.
All of a sudden, Ferrari have a...
Oh, the Red Bull! Making a move on the McLaren. The McLaren runs wide, and that's allowed Jamie 1S through.
Gill is going so slowly.
Oh, the McLaren's trying to fight back, though. This could be fair play.
I hope he's not waiting for people to come round.
Wait, who's that?
Gill's going very slowly through sector 1. Giving the benefit of the doubt for the time being. The Ferraris are coming up. They've suddenly got a 4-second cushion back to Mitch.
Oh, Haas having a look. Yellow in sector 1. I don't know who that is.
I have a really bad feeling that Gill is going to go after Javi when Javi comes.
Yeah, I can't see him yet. I can just hear with the Ferrari guys. He's just up the road from the Ferrari guys. Mitch is doing a good job so far. Not pace-wise, isn't too far away. So it's not too bad at the moment. 1.1 is the gap. Just having a look. So, yep, still yellows in sector 3. Oh, yeah, Gill is slow. The Ferrari drivers have passed him. And now is he going to get the way of Mitch? Mitch had to back off slightly. Yeah, I want to watch what Gill's going to do here. Yeah, because Gill is still driving slowly. Yeah, Javi's about to go past him. Yeah, oh, that's not on. And he's taken Haas out as well. I'm sorry, but that's that
is a very short-lived contest of speed career there.
Yeah, that's obviously I didn't see what happened, what Xavi did, but obviously Xavi didn't do anything on purpose.
These things happen.
And the funny thing is, he's the only one who's retired himself, but Xavi obviously has wing damage, and Charlie also has wing damage, so he has ruined both of those guys' races.
Sorry everyone had to see that. That's not what the contest of speed's about, and you can be sure that Gill will not be making it round long enough for us to pronounce his name properly.
No. And which is a shame for the Williams team, because pace-wise they were good, but Mitch is under pressure from Al Takir for that P3 spot. And here we go, Al Takir.
I wouldn't fight for it really.
Oh, Al Takir's gone round the outside. Brilliant move on Mitch, and yeah, up into P3.
Bullet Boy has very quietly made his way up to P5 with his medium tyres from the back of the grid.
Well, he's took advantage of everyone's mishaps. And Thomas pits. Thomas is pitting lap 9. So what has he gone on to? He's gone on to the hard tyre. So he's not playing any risks here. He's going for the more conservative option of being able to go flat out and not worry about the tyre wearing out towards the end. He's going to rejoin ahead of Colesbury as well. So he's got comfortable clear air to set pace on those hard tyres.
Trust my brother to make light of a bad situation. Yeah, there we've got space for Ricky in tier 1 now.
Absolutely. So
come on down, Ricky.
Yeah. Join the ultimate tier 1. But yeah, so Altakir is only 4.8 seconds off the lead now. He's been chipping away at that lead. At this rate, he will be able to catch his guys. It depends on how good he is.
So Thomas came out 24 seconds behind Fruit, so you need about 22 seconds for a pit stop round here in Australia, so that's the sort of gap we're looking at. If Fruit pits now, he will come out ahead of his teammate.
Yeah, because the gap is only slightly coming down now, because those hards have to come up to temperature a little bit.
He stays out, so does Altakir.
They're going for the medium option then.
Split strategy at Ferrari then, it seems.
Yeah. So they obviously feel they can make those mediums last.
They have the strategic option of playing around with Al a little bit. if they can get Thomas track position over Al, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
After the undercut.
Yeah, because at the moment the gap is staying the same between Fruitful and Thomas, but I expect Thomas to, as those tyres get up to temperature, to start making inroads, and those softs, now being on lap 10, must be getting close to the end.
That's very true. But as it is, obviously Thomas is set to come out ahead of Al-Takir if Al-Takir pits now.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. The gap is, Thomas has gained a few tenths on Thomas this time round, but Al-Takir is flying. He's already taken a massive amount of time out. It's 3.8 seconds, the gap now between Fruitful
7 tenths
and Al-Takir. Yeah, I think Fruitful's tyres are starting to struggle. Yeah, Thomas has took quite a big chunk out of it. I think Thomas could come out ahead of Fruitful here. The gap has gone down by 7 tenths.
I think if he pits, he's going to be out on track ahead, but he's going to be so slow through 1 and 2 that Thomas could get a run into 3.
And he still stays out.
He is definitely committing to the mediums there. Al is also committing to the mediums there.
And Mitch pits. So Mitch decides to go for the undercut.
Brilliant drive from Mitch so far. Brilliant drive.
Yeah, he's
doing really well. Interesting to decide what he goes for. Is he going to go for mediums? He can make them last.
Here we go.
Solid race
I think it's mediums.
Still.
I believe it's mediums. Yep, it is. So Mitch goes for the medium tyre. So he's going to come out. Thomas is going to pass him now.
But there's a big enough gap back to Jamie, who's only just coming around the last corner. So Mitch keeps a effective P4 in this race. Obviously Bullet will be factoring in later. I think that Bullet and Mitch will be dicing it out for P4 coming the end of this race. So he's got to keep this pace up.
And the other thing also is Jamie 1S behind him is on the hard tyres, so Mitch should be able to pull away from him in the first half of this second stint, and maybe Jamie 1S will start to make inroads towards the end. But right now, Thomas is 22.5 behind, and again Al-Takir is taking chunks out of Fruitful Coot's lead. The gap is now 3 seconds, 3.1.
But Bullet is taking more time out than the pair of them. He's now 9.8 seconds off the lead because he's on his medium.
That's it. The medium lasts so much better, especially having a fresh set of mediums, as Fruitful Coot pits. And Al-Takir follows him through.
I think Thomas is going to have him into turn 1. It could be a bit dangerous on the exit for Ferrari there. But it says he's put him onto softs on my...
oh, he's got 5 second. He's got the 5 second penalty. That's why Al-Takir's got that 5 second penalty for that earlier incident.
My game looks like it's put Fruit on softs.
No, he's mediums.
That's
and
good.
there you go.
So
They're side by side, and Thomas is going to take the lead. So Thomas takes the lead for now. However, Fruitful Coot has got mediums, so Fruitful should have a pace advantage. But yeah, Al-Takir had a 5 second time stop-go penalty, unfortunately, which has dropped him behind Mitch again. So
Fruit is on the optimum strategy. Fruit will be surely let through by Virtual Bonotto when the time comes. And Thomas's job will be to block off and hold up Al as much as possible as he makes up for that 5 second penalty deficit. It's such a shame that it happened before his pit stop because, I mean, the penalty that he received was for Ghost hitting the back of him, and it was really a nothing incident. I was on board at the time. He was just prone in the middle of the track, and Ghost had no time to react to the Mercedes in the middle of the track.
Are we able to take 5 seconds off his time, though?
Unfortunately not. If it had happened after his final pit stop, we could have done because he'd been racing the right people on the track, but because he's in a different place on the track now, we can't assume that those 5 seconds would equate to 5 seconds in real life. Sadly. If it had happened after the pit stops, of course, we'd have just treated it as a normal time penalty.
I see
now
what you mean.
The second we can't take it off.
Yeah. So, Bullet Boy has pitted, and he's gone for the hards. So
this
he didn't.
Is interesting.
But I don't know if that's the right strategy. He should have tried to extend the medium and to lap 17, 18, well, lap 18, 19,
well,
and then
that's what
got
I
to
thought
soft.
would have happened there, yeah, definitely. Unless he took too much out of it trying to chase them down and he felt that maybe he couldn't have enough pace to give it a go. But I mean, he should be a solid P5. It'll be interesting whether or not he can catch up to Mitch. That could be interesting.
Well, he's played the safe option, hasn't he? Because he would have fallen behind Jamie 1S had he stayed out, and he would have had to do more work on the soft tyre. Whilst now he's got fresher hards, he doesn't have to worry about Jamie because Jamie's on 5-lap old hards, so he should have the pace to stay clear of Jamie. It's only really the people on mediums, Carlsbury and Javi. Well, Carlsbury essentially, because Javi is too far back because of the wing damage issues that he had. Matrix just decided to go for a weird 2-stop, I think, because he's on soft tyres at the moment. So Matrix is only 2 tenths behind Jay Ghost at the moment.
I'd just like to make a big shout out to Charlie at the moment, who got that massive damage in the Williams incident in Crashgate, and he's still carried on, and he's hunting down Matrix for the final point at the moment.
Yeah, good on him. Fruitful Coot has got past Thomas, so that move was done. And
surely Al is going to be into turn 3 on Mitch. He's setting it up now, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, Mitch has always been better on those mediums, but Altakir is just so quick.
Mitch knows it's not his race. His race is trying to keep a gap to Bullet Boy.
Yeah, that's it. Because Bullet Boy's definitely got the pace. To be only 3.5 behind Mitch, he did a very good run on the mid.
He did a very good end of his stint on the mid.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wanted to take all the life out of them to get track position to make up for the poor grid. Maybe that's what he was going for. I mean, it's not an awful decision that he's made to come in for hards. It is, like you said, the safe decision.
Well, he has got the
nice
pace.
To see something a bit more ratey, and maybe he feels I'm not going to get top 3 anyway, so I might as well just focus on a P4.
Yeah, he's definitely got the pace, because Bullet Boy is actually matching Mitch's pace on hards.
And the race will come to Bullet Boy against Mitch as well.
Yeah. Saying that, Mitch is starting to pull away a little bit. If Mitch can hold on to that 1 second mark, which I think he will, at least he'll be able to get DRS for these next 2 points. At least that will help him with his lap times on this lap alone. Yeah, so that's going to be fine. Yeah, so Mitch will still be able to get DRS. Ginger Ninja gets a 3-second penalty, as does Matrix. As Carlsbury has just passed Jamie 1S, so the mediums showing their pace right now. They're past Jamie 1S now, down into P7. Shouldn't be under any attack from Xavi, because Xavi is 15 seconds down the road. But Jay Ghost, there's a good little battle for P8. You've got Xavi, Jay Ghost, and Matrix all following through. Matrix will have to stop again. I would have thought he will have to stop onto mediums. I
imagine that Ghost will be coming in at some point for soft tyres towards the next few laps, because he's been on those since the start, really.
Yeah.
Current hard tyres. But it's so interesting to see a different look at strategy. In terms, even at the top, we've got a mixture of medium and hard tyres up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Obviously, people further down, from 8th down, have been affected by incidents in this race.
A lot,
so that's
yeah.
why there's a bit of a gap between, and then we've got Carlsbury and Jamie in the battle for 6th. So there's a few battles going on around the place.
Yeah, Mitch is still able just about to stay in DRS as well with Altakir at the moment. Mitch is doing really well.
The longer he can do that, the more of a buffer he's going to have towards the end of the race.
Absolutely,
on Bullet.
Yeah, he's been able to pull away a bit now. The gap is 4.2, so to be honest, he'll only start to feel the issues in the medium in 10 laps time, I think. 10 laps.
At the moment, Bullet has 3 seconds, so he's got that in his pocket on him as well.
Yeah. So, and Thomas is getting reeled in. 2.8 the gap between himself and Altakir. Thomas will be stronger at the end. He will be, well, he will, I know, coming around from about lap 21 onwards. The hard and medium, I think, will be level pegging on tyres, and then from lap 21 onwards, you'll see the guys on the harder tyre having the advantage. However, Thomas
Surely.
had to pit a little bit earlier, so that might make it a little bit harder. If they pitted at the same time, you might have noticed it, but he's done 7 laps, coming up to 8 laps now on those hards, whilst Mitch has done 5 laps, and 6 laps now. Fruitful and Altakia have done 5 laps on their mediums.
Surely the role that Thomas is going to be playing pretty soon is going to be Barrichello with the Hacken and Altakia coming up behind him, and he's got to defend his Fruitful Schumacher out in the front.
Still got this well, no movements, but Xavi, Jagos and Matrix still together. That's the only close battle, and Charlie is 4.8 seconds further down, but he's on hard tyres, so he's going to struggle to keep up with them. And if anything, Ginger Ninja is clawing his way to the back of Charlie. And that is essentially the battle for the last point, because Matrix, like I said earlier, will have to pit again. He won't be able to make those softs last much longer now. He's on 9-lap-old softs. But this is good experience for him. On the wheel again, I know his work ethic with practicing is second to none. So I expect Matrix come halfway through the season to get the hang of the wheel and start to challenge the upper midfield, as it were.
Now Thomas has the tyre life to play with because he's on the hard tyres. He needs to make his mediums as hard as possible for a couple of laps in order to give Fruitful as much of an advantage as possible. If Thomas can get an extra 5-10% wear out of Owl's tyres by just battling him, that's going to be a great hand to his teammate later on in the race, because I feel that Owl's about 3 or 4 tenths a lap quicker than Fruit.
Yeah, I think it might be. It depends on how good Fruitful's tyres are, because they both pitted at the same time. It is purely, does Fruitful's tyres wear out? Does he wear his tyres out more than
Fruitful's
Altakia does?
usually very good on his tyres. I've found he's nice, calm, relaxed driving. So
Thomas lost a bit of time somewhere, because Altakia is already a second behind and in the DRS zone. So already Altakia has been able to take quite a bit of time, and I think Thomas must have had an error somewhere, because I think he lost a second, because he's 3.8 now behind Fruitful Coot and only 8 tenths clear of Altakia. This is not ideal.
Saving his ERS out in front, and Thomas is quite low on the ERS, so whether or not he can defend from Al is going to be another question, but he's got to try and hold him up for at least a lap or two.
Well, right now he won't, because those hards are still not going to be as good as those mediums are. Those mediums only lap 7.
He's
They're
got to make
pretty
it
strong.
difficult for the world champion.
Absolutely, he'll try his best to keep acting as a rear gunner for his teammate. Carlsby gets a 3-second penalty. Oh, they're very close.
To the inside.
Oh, don't
and Al will know as well that he won't want to get tangled up with the wrong Ferrari here, because his battles up front, he needs to get past and dispatch as quickly as possible. But Thomas isn't going to let him.
Nicely done. Oh, don't want to hit the wall there.
The widest Ferrari in the world.
Now, is he going to make... It's difficult. You shouldn't really make a dive bomb here. He's got the DRS.
Got DRS, he's got ERS as well. Thomas has used all of his to defend, but he'll take the inside line.
He'll do the outside
and then he'll push Al to the outside.
He's going to do that
Al
move
will try and
again.
get the traction, and he blocks him
they're in
off.
contact.
Racing incident there. No damage, thankfully. And we carry on into another lap. This is all helping Fruit.
But I think Altakia is going to have a much better job here, because he'll be able to get better traction and grip. Oh, and Thomas, in fact, lets him through.
He's run out of ERS, that's why. He knows he can't do it. But I think he's also playing fairly, because he doesn't want to hold him up for too much longer, because then another penalty left Thomas. Because that puts Mitch into prime position for a potential podium on his Tier 1 debut.
Well, Thomas has had 2 penalties, I believe, now. So Thomas is on 6.
Check that.
So
Thomas is on 6 seconds, and Mitch is currently getting the Wizard Award for cleanliness.
I like it, Wizard Award. Well, yeah, Mitch always very rarely gets penalties. Very clean driver, very consistent. And this is what's going to help him do well in this tier this season, because his race pace is second to none.
It does help you jump up a couple of places as well. It's good fun.
Bullet Boy is coming back at him though. Those hards are starting to come into their game, into their realm, because Bullet Boy's only on 7-lap old hards compared to Thomas, who's on 11-lap old hards. His pace is still quite strong.
Has been stuck behind Javi for the last 7 or 8 laps, and you just feel, is he going to try and make these hards go to the end, or is he, because they could do it, but is he going to try and come in to get some fastest lap action? Because he'd pop out just in front of Matrix at this point, so he'd be able to then chase down Ginger Ninja and Charlie, so he wouldn't lose any places, and in theory he would get a bonus point for fastest lap there.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe he's looking at his information display just to see when it tells him he will definitely come out ahead of Matrix if he picks.
Yeah, Matrix has gone out on another set of softs, so he done the 2-stop. He's got too much though,
Matrix
surely
has
to
got
catch.
the jump on him.
Yeah, Matrix is. He's not going to be able to get
Ghost
top 10.
can't do it now because obviously.
Bullet Boy gets 3 seconds. Yeah, so he's definitely no issues for no threat for Mitch then, really.
At the moment, Mitch is looking good for a podium. To be brutally honest, if he can stick to the back of Thomas, which he could be seeing him now, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I mean he is actually doing a similar pace to Thomas at the moment. Oh, Ginger Ninja, another 3 seconds for him currently, and that could be crucial for that top 10 because Charlie's actually been catching up with Ginger Ninja now. Oh, sorry, it might have been the other way around. Ginger Ninja's got past Charlie.
Ghost has just enough time ahead of Matrix that he has to pit this lap. After this lap, Matrix will be within his pit stop.
Yeah, and it's going to be a different matter if you're on both on softs. Matrix is still on. Those are pretty fresh still. They're only 2-lap old softs.
Javi's gone for the pit though, so Javi should come out just ahead of Matrix. Maybe Ghost is just going to try and get these to the end. He's got enough of a gap to Ginger Ninja behind him. I will keep an eye on Matrix and Javi as Javi's in the pit lane.
So he goes for the softs. So Charlie goes past.
He's slowly rumbling down the pit lane. Matrix coming out of the last corner, so he's got the track position. So Ghost could still do it, but he's going to lose out to Javi now, you'd think.
Yes.
He's maybe waited a bit too long. Maybe he's backed himself into that staying on the hards until the end.
Yeah, Charlie's got a 10.8 second gap between himself and Javi. So Javi, obviously, it's alright getting. I say that Charlie just got a 3-second penalty, but it's alright for Javi. You know, Javi's got to make sure he gets into that top 10 to get that fastest lap. So
he's going to do that, and he'll probably get ahead of Ginger Ninja as well. Whether or not he can catch a full pit stop to Ghost, we don't know, but I just don't think they're going to make it to the end of the race. I don't know if they'll
be able to catch them. I think it's too much of a gap. It's 10 seconds he's got to catch Charlie by, and then Charlie's a further 3 seconds behind Ginger Ninja. That's 13 in 7 laps to get 13 seconds. And towards the end, the tyres aren't going to be at their best either, so he might be able to get Charlie. He should be able to get Charlie. But I don't know if he'll be able to get Ginger Ninja before the end of this race.
Pure Blades in the chat saying he'd love to see Javi and Charlie both score, so he's clearly hoping for something to befall maybe Ginger Ninja. Well, I just think Ghost's tyres are going to go off.
Yeah, 21 laps on those hards.
He's pitted from lap 1.
Those hards though, they just don't wear. They're pretty good. They're pretty handy around here.
But once they reach that critical 80% margin, you're running the risk of any puncture at any time.
Yeah, that's true. Big Slater gets 3 seconds.
Interestingly as well, the top two, Fruitful and Out of Gear, our double world champion, they are the two people who've scored the most points in COS history. Fruitful is actually ahead of Al at the moment, and at the moment he's going to extend that record.
I
It's
think
the one record that Al doesn't have, and Fruit could be taking it slightly further away from him at this point.
Well, at the moment, I think we're going to keep this. Is going to pretty much stay the same as it is. Thomas not able to respond to Altakir's pace. Despite now, we're getting to that point where the medium tyre is going to start to struggle a little bit. But to be fair, Fruitful Coot and Altakir, they pitted late enough. I don't think they'll have too much of an issue. Personally, I think they're alright.
It's half a second a lap, I think the gap is coming down between Fruit and Al. And they're both clean boys at the moment. Al did have a 5-second penalty, unfortunately earlier, but he's already served that. So what you see on track is the race at the moment. Who in the chat, who's going for Team Fruit and who's going Team Al in the chat there? Or maybe an outside bet, maybe Mitch. Secretly.
Yeah, everything's stabled out pretty well. Now, unfortunately, we don't have any immediate battles going on, but that is just the nature of people being on different strategies and the chaos we had in the opening 7 laps.
Just waiting for these strategies to play out, really. Charlie only 4 seconds behind Charlie now.
Carlsbury is pitted, so he's gone onto softs to try and get a fastest lap.
Ghosts will pass him on track. But that's surely by the end of this lap he will be back ahead of him.
Yeah, 23 lap old hards against fresh softs is no match. So we'll get a battle here. Doesn't take long for those softs to warm up either. Yeah, he's got so much more grip.
That Juve in the chat going after Mitch with a Fruitful second.
Oh, he's already going to go for it. Carlsbury down the inside into turn 10.
He needed to get that done as quickly as possible. He does not want to be held up behind him there because he could, well, he very realistically will get back on Jamie, which is why he's made that pit stop.
Well, the fastest lap at the moment.
He wants the bonus point.
Yeah, well, the fastest lap is to Javi, but he is currently still outside top 10. So as it stands, no one will get a fastest lap point at the moment. But Carlsbury, will he be able to nick that away? That is the question. Yeah, meanwhile, Javi is now only 2.5 seconds behind Charlie, so he is on course to catch Charlie. But I still think he's going to struggle with 4 to go. I think he's going to struggle to pass, get to Ginger Ninja before the end.
So Carlsbury's fastest lap at the moment is a second slower than Javi's. I'm just keeping an eye on how quick he's going. He's on a brilliant lap.
Oh, Bullet Boy's left.
Lost connection.
So his car, unfortunately, he's got a 24-second gap to Jamie 1S. But his car's going to go dramatically slower now. And Bullet Boy's rejoined.
Oh, that's alright, it's just a connection issue, thankfully.
So he will, but he's...
I don't think he was competing with Mitch anyway because of the penalty.
Oh, he's left it again.
Carlsbury 7/10 up after 2 sectors. He is on course to set the fastest lap of this race. He's currently on a 23.9. A 22.9 is the fastest lap, but he's 7/10 up after 2 sectors.
Yeah, lighter car as well help.
Brilliant line through the penultimate corner.
Here we
Get
go.
out of the gas a little bit. Power's down. Full beams. And a 1:22.7 fastest lap.
So he takes that and is on course to get back past Jamie 1S. I think Altakir is going to run out of laps, unfortunately. The gap is 2.7, but we have got 2 and a bit laps left to go. Or 2 and a quarter laps to go now.
Tell you what, that lap that Thomas kept out behind him is going to prove very critical, I feel. You can consider that a job well done if Fruit can keep ahead of him over the line.
He was, with that battling, it allowed Fruitful to gain a second and a half. Yep. So right now, everything would be much closer if it wasn't for that second and a half difference.
Exactly, that one lap from Thomas could be proving pivotal for the result for Ferrari today.
Xavi is just coming up to the back of Charlie now, who's on 18 lap hards. Oh, Xavi went a bit on the grass there though. And Jay Ghost is still going strong, 25 laps in on those hard tyres.
On that stint, fair play. After no fault of his own, he only had to end up on those tyres as well. He'll actually be quite pleased with 4 points from that if they don't go.
Be looking out to make sure I think he might be alright. I think he might get away with it. But yeah, you've got Xavi now. Surely looking for DRS because he's going to get so much more grip in the final turn. Oh, what is Charlie doing? Charlie's going all over the place. There you go, side by side into turn 1. Oh, the Haas is ghosting. Oh, he's got wing damage.
Oh no.
So Xavi is going to struggle there to now get that point because he's got.
Damien and Carlsbury are fighting.
Oh. Here we go, Carlsbury round the outside, so much more grip.
So much more grip. It's almost like he was racing in Le Mans and he was in the prototype and Jamie was in the GT class.
So we are on the final lap then of this race. Fruitful, although he's being caught now by quite a big chunk, like he did at the end of the last stint, but I think he knows he's got that time in hand.
Ooh, ow, with a big swapper on 4. Just held it there.
Still pushing hard. Didn't lose too much time because of it though. He is giving it everything.
Right on the ragged edge, he doesn't give up, does he? It's just a sign of a champion. He wants every point possible.
You just got to be careful he doesn't lose it in turn 11. You know, don't be too don't be too selfish on this last lap to try and gain as much time. Carlsbury, another penalty for him. They get through turns 11 and 12 into the final sector now. A lovely 90-degree corner and then almost flat into this corner before the second to last heavy braking zone. Fruitful Coot is on course to take the first win of the season. It's a win for Ferrari, Forza Fruitful. He wins the Australian Grand Prix. Altakir in P2.
Crucially, Mitch is a second and a half within Thomas. He's going to get a podium for Alfa on his debut in Tier 1. Well done, Mitch. He's my personal driver of the day.
Yeah, brilliant drive by Mitch. Kept it clean, consistently quick all along. And we get yellows in Sector 2 and 3, apparently. But Bullet Boy's going to come home in 5th, unfortunately. Lucky
Late recovery drive from him.
Yeah, and Carlsbury, I think, has he got wing damage? No. Oh, Ginger Ninja's retired. So Ginger Ninja at the end has retired. Must have crashed it. And Jamie 1S is going to come home in 7th, but go up to 6th. He does move up to 6th because of Carlsbury's penalties. Jay Ghost does make it to the end on those tyres, 27 laps.
Fair play on that stint. He did that from the end of lap 1.
And Charlie and Xavi come through. Xavi does get P10 because of Ginger Ninja's crash. So Matrix just misses out on the points paying positions in P11.
I shall invite the podium.
Nice. So it is Fruitful, Altakir and Mitch with the podiums today. Great result for all three drivers. Great win for Fruitful, controlling it. Great recovery drive for Altakir, which so lucky not to get damage at the beginning of that race when him and his teammate crashed at the exit of turn 12. And then Mitch for getting his podium on his debut. A fantastic result for him as well. Hey,
Hello,
Thomas.
Fruit, you are live. Do not swear.
So, Fruitful wins Altakir second, Mitch P3, Thomas in P4, Bullet Boy 5th, Jamie 1S in 6th, Carlsbury 7th, Jay Ghost 8th, lasting almost the entire race on those hard tyres, Charlie 9th, Javi in 10th, Matrix 11th, and then the DNF Ginger Ninja. Big Slater finished a lap down, Gil in 14th, Raikkonen 15th, and Jay Ferrer-Rocher 16th. Those guys DNF'd obviously, but yeah, Xavi taking advantage in the end. It looked like he wasn't going to get a point paying position, but Ginger Ninja crashing out on that final lap allowed him to nick that final points paying position. So we have we're just waiting for the for some reason it's migrating host at the moment, but yeah, we can start the interviews. Start off. Have we got everyone? Have we got Mitch as well? So we'll just wait for Mitch, and then yeah.
Wow, you two gave us a right ding dong today.
I'm not racing anymore in the league if we use the league feature. I'm leaving. If we keep using this shit of feature, I'm leaving.
Why is that?
Well, because it's not normal that we use league something that kicks people out from the lobby. So.
Yeah, but you have have had it more often. So, I mean, in Unranked lobbies you've had it last year as well.
Yeah, it's happened more often to me due to connection, but today was not connection. Today just the game kicked me, and when I tried to rejoin, it didn't let me. So then I started the first lap on cold tires and had zero grip. So that's it.
To be fair, everyone got cold tyres because your AI was leading them around really slowly.
Yeah, but they could hit the tires up by themselves. I wasn't allowed. I'm just so annoyed right now. I'm just so annoyed right now.
I can imagine. And it's a shame that you got the 5-second penalty before all the pit stops.
Yeah, as well, the 5-second penalty
came
was...
round the last corner, it's a shame.
Yeah, you had everything going against you, to be
racing.
fair. Still get P2, that's not bad. Oh, he's lost connection again.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't
Maybe
think... It might be his connection.
Yeah, I'm currently on 4G, so and I survived the race.
I think. Yeah, it was. Have we got? Is Mitch? Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, so we'll start off with race winner, Fruitful. Well done, opening race of the season and race victory. Talk us through your race. It looked pretty. Well, on track simple, but I'm sure you had to dig deep, particularly towards the end of each stint when the tyres were getting towards the end of their lives.
would say.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I mean, it was that was a key issue. Obviously, Thomas was able to defend for that lap and kept Al behind for that. It looked like second and a half to 2 seconds, and that was crucial in the end. So yeah, congratulations on that P1. And
Oh,
Al, bad luck for the internet connection there, and also that lap 1 was crazy when both was it your teammate that sort of caught you out, or was it just one of those where both of you lost the rear end? Right. Yeah. Oh wow.
Can I interrupt? A friend of mine say that you can't hear us. So
Okay.
you can only hear Lewis. Saying to me that he can't hear us.
Yeah. Sure, it was error from mine. It was error from mine.
Oh, he's hearing us now. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
That's cool. Yeah. Sorry, carry on, Al.
What?
Carry. So you're saying about your tyres,
Yeah,
the reason for the spin.
I had nothing to do on the first lap. Just didn't keep me doing the qualifying session. Didn't allow me to rejoin on the formation lap. Made me start with freezing cold tires, and just first lap was a complete horror for me. Had zero grip. Tires were still cold where we arrived to the third sector. And I just had nowhere to go. I spun, then I tried to rejoin the most safely way possible, and Jagos couldn't avoid me. Got the 5-second penalty. Yes.
But still a good recovery. Luckily, it was early in the race, and you didn't get any damage, thankfully. So Pete, I know P1 was there on pace today, but because of your pace, you're able to get P2, and damage limitation is the best. So yeah, fair play. We'll hope to get those issues sorted out for the future races, so we don't have that happening again. Well done in P2. And Mitch,
Thanks.
brilliant drive for you. Welcome to Tier 1. It's like Tier 2. You're getting the podiums.
Yeah, kind of. I don't think I've ever raced as hard as I possibly could. I don't know. I'm total shock. I let Al through after the pit stops. I decided that if I could just hang on to Al, use his DRS as much as possible, it would pull me closer to Thomas. And then, because I knew Thomas at the point had some type of a penalty, I was clean. I didn't get a warning the whole race, so I just kept it clean and jumped him on penalties at the end. Yeah,
it was just a classic case, Mitch, where your driving kept out of trouble. Because at one point, at the early point, you were P something like 6th, 7th, and you were actually falling away from everyone. But the guys ahead were just getting involved in incidents.
It's a classic case of I had no pace whatsoever on the soft tire.
Yeah, well, to be fair, towards the end, you weren't too bad. It was just at the very beginning, people seemed to be a bit quicker. But yeah, no, on the medium tire, you did really well, and wasn't that far off. But you kept on the island as well, and made no penalties, and that's what allowed you to get into that P3 spot. It was a well executed drive. Both me and Two Spell have got you as driver of the day since it's your debut in Tier 1, and to have no issues, clean driving and P3 was a really good result. So you should be proud of that.
Oh, I'm ecstatic. To be honest, I can't believe it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Two Spell, did you want to add any questions to the guys?
I honestly can't. Two Spell's crossed out on mine, so I can't hear him.
Right. Okay, I can't. Yeah. Okay.
By the
no
way,
worries.
I want to say something to Freepool. Congratulations, bro. Yes. You managed just on the very edge to hold me off, so congratulations. It was fun trying to catch you up.
I think the pie chat might be losing some of the voices, so I can't hear.
PSN might be messing up.
Yeah, it could be. Well, we'll leave it there anyway. Thank you guys for the interviews, and well done for today's results. First round of obviously 21, so first of many. But yeah, congratulations, and that is it for this week's racing. We're back next week for France. We're changing up the calendar this year. We're not following the F1 season protocol, so France is the next round, starting on Monday. We've got the American League, haven't we? Got the American League
tomorrow.
Yeah, do tomorrow. So the debut of the American tier is tomorrow. For us Europeans, it's in the middle of the early morning, but
2 a.m. for you guys, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard.
There you go. There's the drop. So we got the American tier. Got to remember that now for you guys to watch. Be looking forward to watching that on catch up. But yeah, the European tiers start again on Monday. France is the new round. But from all of us here, thank you very much for watching, and have a very good rest of your evening.